We
Yeah.
need the light.
Light.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender. I am opening. Love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender. I am opening. Love light of the One. I am opening. 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 I am
Well, thank you to the electrician, and thank you to the prayers. Thank you to all of the technical people that we now have the sight and sound restored, and may it be so. So if you would turn within with me. And I ask us to begin by imagining that we are in a sacred bubble where the energy of the infinite presence is truly all that is. Anything that it took to get here this morning, and indeed those little things with the sight and the sound, I let reside outside of this space. And right now establish this as undeniably sacred. The power, the presence, the glory, the light, and the life of the author of the universe is all there is. Right here and right now. I feel my own edges becoming porous, so that that infinite presence may be the only thing that I am aware of. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here, so that human issues, human problems, human details going on are beyond this space, for in here is the absolute perfection of life itself. Each one connected, one unto another and to our source. Each one connected to new ideas and new solutions, new revelations and transformation, all happening right here in this holy space. So it is that I accept this for each one, and as I release, I know it is answered, this prayer, in each heart, in perfect ways. And so it is. Amen. Good morning once again. I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley, and we have Scott Grace as our guest artist this morning, who has something absolutely wonderful and new and original planned exactly for this morning. So please welcome Scott Grace.
Thank you.
This is a new song. The advantage of that is that it's fresh. A lot of enzymes still alive in it. Disadvantage is that I got to read the words, so I can't look you in the eye, but hey, what the heaven. So it's a call and response on the chorus. When you hear me say, you are already saved, you respond by singing, we are already saved.
Whoa,
Yeah.
back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right.
We need to turn the guitar up. Do we have guitar?
Salvation doesn't come from working so hard, doing good deeds to be pleasing your God. Salvation doesn't come from meditation, higher planes of consciousness and yogic gyrations. You are already saved.
We are already saved.
You are already saved.
We are already saved.
Salvation doesn't come from procrastination, putting off your joy until your next vacation. Salvation doesn't come from denying the flesh, staying far away from chocolate and sexy. You are already saved.
We are already saved.
You are already saved.
We are already
saved. Salvation doesn't come from meeting your match. Another human being can't open that latch. Salvation doesn't come from nights romantic, rubbing pots together even when it's tantric. You are already saved.
We are already saved.
You are already saved.
We are already saved.
Salvation doesn't come from fortune and fame. It's what you let go of, not what you attain. Salvation doesn't come from a raw food diet, though I really shouldn't knock it, 'cause I haven't tried it. You are already saved.
We are already saved.
You are already saved. We are
Already saved.
Salvation doesn't come from a war on sin. Resist not evil, said Jesus to his kin. A war on drugs, a war on terror. Consciousness of war is repeating the error. You are already saved.
We are already saved.
You are already saved.
We are already saved.
There is no salvation, there is no sin. There is no enemy, not even within. There is no journey, there is no path. And all there is to do is to laugh, laugh, laugh. We are
Already saved. We are already saved.
we are already saved.
We are already saved.
You are already saved. We are already saved. You are already safe.
We are already saved.
Saved already. Yay. Reminds me of a phrase that Reverend Karyl sometimes uses. Safe as a toad in God's pocket. So nestled into this great and glorious moment, I am delighted to share events and opportunities for connection in our community. And you know, beginning with gratitude is that opportunity to open to the fullness that is already present. And so we are grateful today for Pat Malone, one of our skilled and amazing practitioners who has a gift for representing the events and flyers and expressions of what's going on in the community through her creative artistic expression. She creates our bulletin, our postcards, all kinds of things. So thank you, Pat, for your creative skill. And we send our child off with a blessing today. And oh, honey, you get to have a special blessing. We're just going to send fairy blessings to you on your way to your lesson with your teachers and spreading the light and love and joy of who you are in this world. Thank you for being here. Next week, we have a wonderful opportunity to share the love of community and connection in a picnic. We're going to have a potluck picnic right here in the patio after church. So the way to connect with this is bring a dish and bring $5. Can we do that? Yeah, I think that's easy. And what a wonderful chance to get to know one another, to break bread. And we thank Tom Merrill and Jay Gustafson for coordinating this. And it looks like you have a sign-up sheet, Tom.
And if you're making announcements, use a speaker because otherwise the microphone, because otherwise it doesn't get on the video recording. Next week, the picnic, $5. If you can, bring a dish. Let me know what it is so we have an idea of what's coming. And if you don't have a dish you want to bring, but you want to bring something, we're putting together a community fruit bowl. So bring a couple pieces of fruit off your tree or what have you. Come participate. Either way. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And now I'd like to call up Barbara Cox to share something very wonderful with you all.
Good morning. In this last year, we had a series called Creating Your Spiritual Legacy. And during the course of that, some of you let us know that you'd already put Golden Gate in your estate plan, or that you had a plan to. Blessed be. So we wanted to make sure that you knew about an event that will be coming up on Sunday, November 3rd at Jane Jennings' lovely Stinson Beach home from 1 to 4 p.m. And that will be for those who have completed and put Golden Gate in the estate plan. We will be at the legacy table after church today, and we will have a very simple completion form, and we will have lots of information if you have any questions about legacy or any questions about estate planning, anything simple that we can handle. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Next Sunday after service at our Learning Center, which is in San Rafael, we are offering the Quick Start class. And this is an opportunity to jump into some of the basics of the Science of Mind philosophy and to put practical skills into practice right away. It's a free class, and it's offered by and coordinated by Gail Durkin. So you can find out more about that at the education table, and of course in your bulletin there's lots of information. And now I welcome up Reverend Karyl to share about fall classes, and then she'll just flow right into her talk in the graceful way that she does.
So we are offering a number of classes in the fall. It's a kind of back-to-school energy. All of those classes will be at the education table, and there will be faculty there to answer any questions. I'm going to be teaching 2 sections of the foundational class. That's the first accredited class, where you learn about consciousness and spiritual mind treatment, how to change your consciousness and create your life anew. The classes, the first section is on Wednesday at 11 in the morning, and the second section is 6:30 on Thursday evening. It's the same class, but we just know, Ashley is the one that said, give us a day class, and that's actually filling up faster. So I know, it's fabulous. So I'm going to be doing an emphasis in this particular time through the foundational class about building your life dream. And we will take you through all the curriculum, but it will be heavy application or light and lovely application of the principles to how you want your life to look. And all of the work that goes into that, like deservability and how to shift consciousness, how to create your dream. So we're going to be working on that. I welcome everyone there, and if you want to take it over again, great. Some people are doing that as well. I'd like to welcome everyone who is here for the very first time or back after a long time. Joyce is here after a long time. Welcome back, Joyce. And so just come and collect your hugs after the service. Also want to thank Sandra Agaribede for this beautiful, beautiful altar of butterflies and transformation. And you're all here for the sin talk, right? Great. Absolutely fabulous. So we're doing something this year about the seasons and what happens in the natural world here in the Northern Hemisphere. And right now, August is the month of fullness. I mean, I took Melanie, my daughter, took a picture of me and a zucchini yesterday that was the size of a baby. And I was holding it in my arms like a baby. So that August is about fullness. And it's about the readiness of crops. So the word today that that I'm going to be talking about is readiness. So there's an interesting and little-known relationship between sin and readiness, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about. But I want you to trust me in this talk because we don't talk about sin very much, and so I want you to trust me to be able to take us into this deep place of disquiet and then out into a place of joy, which is why I chose the song at the beginning of this service, I am opening up in sweet surrender, because I want us to remain open, 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 open. I'm not going to say anything that scares you except a little bit right at the beginning. Okay? So that's what we have to do. We have to sort of delve into what the race consciousness is around this topic of sin. Because in Science of Mind, which is the philosophy of this community, originated by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, we do not talk about sin. I mean, that it is, initially I believe that not only was this philosophy the golden threads from all world religions, but it was also sort of a reaction to a religion of self-hatred and degradation. That is not what we're about here. It is about lifting each other up, seeing the perfection, the wholeness, the completeness in each one of us. And so when sin is talked about in Science of Mind, it's talked about in its sort of literal translation from archery, which means missing the mark. And that's all you'll ever hear, usually, in Science of Mind about sin, is that we miss the mark, but in truth, we are perfect, whole, and complete. So there is a race consciousness in this country, actually, and I want to say what I mean by race consciousness for people who are new to this philosophy. Each one of us holds a set of beliefs that outpictures as our experience of life. That's the shorthand of what we believe. If you want the longhand, please sign up for Foundations. But there's also a collective set of beliefs that we have, and we call that race consciousness. It's the collective set of beliefs that we have either in our family. We have family race consciousness, we have neighborhood race consciousness, and we also have American history race consciousness. And when you go back to the origin of our country as the United States of America, we know that it was not founded by the Puritans, but that was a big influx of the people that originally, the white folks that settled in this country. And the Puritans came through the Protestant Reformation that had already happened in Europe. And especially, they were affected by a French pastor called John Calvin. Most of the Puritans that came to this country considered themselves Calvinists. This is one of the things that John Calvin taught. This is a quote now. The domination of sin is complete to the point that people are driven to evil. Okay, this is the scary part, and this is the part I want you to remain open to. This is the part where I want you to go down into any remnants of this consciousness that you might have in your own life. Because this belief in the domination of sin and evil is what originated that awful philosophy of child rearing called spare the rod, spoil the child. That was instituted because these little beings were inherently evil, and we had to, well, you know what we had to do. So currently, we've come through that a good deal, but still today, hymns from your past, door-to-door proselytizing, late-night TV, and perhaps the religion of your youth indicates that somewhere in there we still believe that we are sinners. This is a scary, horrible view of us, that we are prone to evil and that we're depraved and left alone, we would only do bad things. And it's so prevalent, even in what is supposed to be religions of love, that when Matthew Fox, who was a Catholic priest, wrote a book called Original Blessings, which was his answer to original sin, he was excommunicated from the Catholic Church as punishment, which is another whole model that is related to sin, which is punishment. So in schools, in law enforcement, in religion, and in some families, the idea of punishment is we need to control ourselves because left to our own devices, we would do evil. So when something unwanted happens in our lives, some of us still go to that old belief and say, God is punishing me. Nothing could be further from the truth that we teach here. So if any of this trips into any beliefs that you have held, this is the day we get to heal them. You have made it through the scary part of the talk. And it looks like, by the looks on your face, you remained pretty open to it. Okay? This is as bad as it gets, because this is what we're healing. All right? This is really, really important, because our principle that we're working with is the healed state is natural, and we are fundamentally whole. That's it. So, given that this is not true, that we are not horrible sinners, what is also true, and what is this interesting balance that I want to present to us this morning, that I had actually so much challenge and I loved putting this talk together, is that we do harm one another upon occasion. Mostly we don't do it intentionally, and sometimes we do. Sometimes we intentionally hurt someone we love because we want to punish them. And so, what is a helpful point of view, a healed and whole point of view, that takes this positive philosophy called science of mind, along with, from the Bible, the New Testament that many of us studied, when Paul said, "Now are ye the sons and daughters of God," and helps us change our belief about our inner nature and helps us to behavior that is harmless. That's what we're going to talk about today, this balance of how do we get more harmless and still recognize that we're not finished spiritual beings. We still have some things that can trigger us, and when we're triggered, we have a greater tendency to harm one another. Okay? You're still open. This is great. All right, so now we're going to move into a consideration of the word evil from the Aramaic language. Now, for those of you that have been around me for a number of years, when I talk about the Aramaic language and I bring you a translation of something that in our Bible is just one word, and when we realize that from the Aramaic, which is the language that Jesus spoke, the Aramaic language is so much more complex than English. I mean, English among the world religions is a pretty complex language, but Aramaic has those subtleties and levels of meaning so that one word can mean a bunch of different things, and the sounds that make up the word have another root meaning, and then the root itself has all of these tendrils that have many different meanings. And so what has come down to us in the King James Version of the Bible is one translation. In the Aramaic could be a number of translations. So, if we look at the word evil that many of us prayed as a youngster in the Lord's Prayer, this line in the Lord's Prayer that says, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." Remember that one? So what the word bisha in the Aramaic language does mean evil or error, but in the Hebraic and Aramaic sense of unripeness or inappropriate action. The roots point toward a sense of what delays or diverts us from advancing, as well as a sense of inner shame for not producing good fruit, the right action at the right time. And so one of the translations of that line, "Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil," could be, "But break the hold of unripeness, the inner stagnation that prevents good fruit." So this is the relationship between evil and readiness. Because in this translation, it has nothing to do with a dark blemish on our soul. It has nothing to do with the fact that the light is still within us no matter what. It seems to point to that we might have tried to hurry something. And ripeness takes time. Some of my tomatoes are ripe, and some of them are not ripe. I can have a green, bitter tomato now, or I can wait and have a sweet red tomato after it's ready, after it has developed. And so when we point to this in ourselves, an example could be if we're not ready for high school and we enter high school, we're going to fail. Not because we're evil, because we're not ready. If we're not ready to have an honest conversation in a relationship, we could find ourselves being dishonest and cause harm. I've done this. If we're not developed enough in compassion, we may take something from someone because of an impulse that we have, because we're not ready for self-control. If two nations are not ready to be open and honest for the common good, one can harm the other through self-interest. Now, is the high school student or the person challenged in relationship or the person who wants something they don't have or the country that doesn't speak in honesty, are they evil? No. They're not ready. They're not ready for high school. They're not ready for the relationship. They're not ready for the friendship. They're not ready for the international relationship. So you can see that this happens a lot, right? We're not ready a lot, and we act. So what I want to talk about is how to avoid doing harm. Because that's what we want to really learn. Not how to hate ourselves, but how to learn how to not do harm. So in whatever situation you are in right now, applying this to your own life, am I fearless? That's what you ask yourself. Am I fearless? Because what happens, if we're not fearless, at least we need to be brave. Because much harm is done when we try to protect ourselves. When we try to protect ourselves, we lie, we equivocate, we avoid, we shut down, we turn away from, we don't answer questions, we disappear. Because we're not brave enough to tell the truth. The truth never really harmed anyone. And I mean the deep truth, the truth about saying, I am not skilled enough to do this right now. The deep truth about saying, I don't love you as much as you love me. Not the surface truth of, nah, I have to wash my hair. Okay, are we good? Are we good? You're very sober. Are you thinking about how this applies? Yeah. We don't want to be harmful. Okay, next, the question is, can I see the other's innocence? This is very challenging. When someone out of their unwiseness or unreadiness hurts us, we want to call them bad. We can't do that anymore. After the sin talk here, we can't do that anymore. No matter what they do, we have to learn, and I have to learn, how to see their light and not assume that anyone is inherently bad or evil. They're afraid. They're unwise. They're unskilled. They don't know what to do. They're at a loss. And so they act out of an impulse or an unskilled set of behaviors and hurt people around them. Can I forgive that? Absolutely. Will I forgive it? That's my work. And that's all of our work. The next one is, am I patient? Readiness takes time. You know, there was a while after I graduated from college that I thought that I'd learned my stuff. That there wasn't anything else to learn. And then I entered adult school. And there's always more to learn. Till our last breath, there's more to learn. So if I am working towards wisdom, and the people that I am working with, all of us, you are working towards wisdom, then I am working towards seeing oneness. You are working towards seeing oneness. Then our harm to one another becomes less and less and less. And the harm that we do is easily forgiven. If we keep working on being wise, taking responsibility, speaking the truth quickly, forgiving completely, those spiritual skills. Okay, take a deep breath here. Because now we're going to talk about sin. From the Aramaic perspective. From the Aramaic perspective. So, this is a verse, or a part of a verse from Matthew, where it says, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men. That's the one translation. So, looking at that word sin, the Aramaic word translated as sin could also mean that which misses the mark or falls into error as well as a failure or a mistake. Its root points figuratively both to frustrated hopes and to threads that have become tangled. The same root can also mean to dig out a well or furrow, or to sew, patch, or mend something. So the seeds of restoration are, so to speak, implied in what is already broken. So this one word that has come down to us as sin, which leads us to believe that we are inherently bad, can mean missing the mark, a failure, a mistake, a frustrated hope, threads that have become tangled, digging out a well or furrow, sewing, patching, or mending something. And so this beautiful, beautiful translation of this phrase can be, and really just really open now to let this nurture you, all types of tangled behavior, the missing and falling, the rips and tears, all of the ways you cut yourself off, break your connection, or disrupt the pattern, can and will be mended. Sooner or later, you will be freed from error, your mistakes embraced with emptiness, your arrhythmic action returned to the original beat. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful to know? So, it doesn't say anything about being inherently bad or harmful or unforgivable. But it does say that we did miss the mark somewhere, that we did not hit it squarely. So what is it that we did not hit squarely? How was it? If we can say there's one thing that we can always look at when we miss the mark to get us back on the mark, and that is, I think, we missed the mark of living a divine quality. We missed the mark of living a divine quality. For example, I tried for avoidance instead of love. Or, I tried for not doing my share instead of harmony and balance. Or, I tried for being right instead of being peaceful. Do you see that? When we equivocate, when we protect, when we're lazy, Scott Peck says that's really the only sin, is being lazy. When we don't do our part, when we avoid saying, how can love show up here? How can peace show up here? How can balance show up here? We're harmful again. So going back to how to avoid doing harm, am I focused on divine qualities? So most of us have a little feeling inside when we're not doing things as well as we can do them. We have a little funny feeling like, ew, ew. When you have that little ooh feeling, if you can say, what divine quality can I go for? Now this makes us feel vulnerable. It makes us feel like we could be taken advantage of. But actually, when you do it a little while, it makes you feel really spiritually strong. So go for the divine qualities whenever you're feeling separate. And then, finally here, do I have the good of all in mind? Because what happens when we harm someone is that we're interested in our own stuff. We're selfish. We're scared. We want to avoid doing the right thing because it's harder. But if we have the idea that we are working for the good of all and the harm of none, we can focus more clearly on wise behavior and on healing any belief that we are inherently bad. So to sum up this part, do we act when we're not fully ready? Yes. And usually we hurt people when we do that. Do we miss the mark of living through divine qualities? Yes. And will we again? Yes. And we might hurt someone or ourselves when we do that. Do we tangle threads of truth? Do we equivocate? Yes. And usually it doesn't turn out very well. Do we act out of self-protection and defensiveness? Yes. And it usually goes badly. Are we inherently evil? No. No. We are children of God with unskilled behavior in the moment. That's it. If someone hurts us, are they bad? No. They're a child of God in an interesting disguise, as Mother Teresa says. Yes. And if we see how harmless this is, if we would instantly go to, oh, poor babies, they're just not very skilled. And they will be. You know, because we can be self-righteous religious scientists and say, oh, well, they're not being very skilled. But then open our hearts and say they'd be so much happier when they learn that skill. So, quickly now to sum up, how to nurture readiness and avoid sin or mistakes or tangled threads. Be rigorously honest. Be rigorously honest with yourself, me with myself, and with others. And go deep into the truth. Ask, is there a deeper truth that I don't want to look at because it's unattractive to me? Is this an area of my life that I'm more unskilled at than I think I am? Those are important truths. And if you're in a relationship and it goes badly and you can say, oh, I really was unskilled right there. Let me try that again. How much more harmless would we be? So, be rigorously honest. Next, heal reactiveness. Now, reactiveness is when we are instantly in a fight. When somebody says something to us and we bypass all this stuff about, oh, well, they are unskilled right there, but I can see their light anyway. Now, we are so in the loop of fighting, of aggressive, of somebody did this to me, I'm going to do this to them. Now, they didn't do anything except push your button. That's what reactiveness is to automatically go to an attack mode. And where the healing needs to happen is inside. It's that you've got a big bullseye on you, and they inadvertently or on purpose pushed your button. But you're the one that can uninstall, take out the button so that there's no reactiveness anymore. It's possible. Develop compassion. Every person is a child of God, skilled or unskilled, or on the path in some way. And so if you can remember, this is a wonderful way of looking backwards with compassion. I remember how I used to do it that way. I remember how I reacted that way. I remember how I didn't tell truth that way. And it was hard for me. It must be hard for them. How sweet is that? How harmless is that? And then finally, establish and maintain a spiritual practice. When we create and have a spiritual practice, what we have a tendency to do is to go to the divine qualities of living more and more and more. And we are able to change our belief once and for all that we are not sinners, we are beautiful, beautiful children of God that are working on our skills. And when we work on our skills to the greatest, greatest, greatest degree that we can. This is what we're going to end up with. This is from Matthew. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And now are you ready for the translation of that in Aramaic? Because the Father, of course, is the creator, the parent, the spiritual source, and heaven is this wonderful word that means light and sound shining everywhere. So listen to how we are going to all be in this place of glory. Let the light of your being, the consciousness of knowing your real self, radiate and illuminate the human beings you find before you, as well as the community of voices you find within. When they see and feel your atmosphere of ripeness, your ability to act at the right time and place, they will be reconnected in praise to the song and harmony of the parent of all, the nurturing force that recreates the cosmos each moment, unfolding a universe of sound, vibration, and light. So let's take that and turn within. And if you would, become aware of the light that resides in your being, the light that resides in your heart, the light that pours out of your eyes, the light that pours out of your hands, the light that enlivens every single cell in your body. And remember and recall that that light is from the one light of God, the radiance that has shared itself with every creation in the universe. The light in me salutes the light in you and knows that we are one. Imagine that your light is pouring forth from you as you sit now with eyes closed. It is blessing the people next to you and all around this room. The light within you is blessing someone with a heavy heart. The light within you is blessing someone who holds some confusion. The light within you is creating a space that goes before you and behind you, that is harmless and pure, radiant and good. This light also blesses you, allowing you to take all of your past with its skilled and unskilled parts and hold it in your heart of hearts, forgiving everything and vowing to be more harmless as we move forward together. Know that from this moment forward, there is a greater and greater opportunity for you to do the right thing in the right timing for the good of all and the harm of none. And realize that as each one of us does this, we are bringing that realm that we call heaven to our earthly existence. And that realm of heaven is singing beautiful music all of the time. It is vibrating with a resonance that heals anything unlike it. And it is the place that is filled with light. Heaven on earth is what we can create together with our readiness to be harmless, wise, honest, and connected in love, one unto another. Blessed be.
No guitar. The wire is confused. My head is spinning. I can't believe I just survived a talk on sinning. Oh, my whole life I've been missing the mark, trying to push things instead of coming from my heart. I need to be ripe. I need to be ready. I need to be strong. I need to be steady. I need to put fear aside and let my wisdom thrive and let my readiness arrive when it's time, and forgive myself when I'm so stuck in my mind that I force and I push and I rush and I hurry and I fret and I'm unskillful and I worry. That doesn't do a thing. Let me hear my heart sing. Let me feel the sting of being unskillful and forgive myself and others and do less and less harm. No cause for alarm when I'm not minding the farm and things don't grow. Let me be forgiveness. Let me have compassion. Let me know what I know and know that I don't know everything. I hardly know anything. I'm just beginning. And that thing called sinning is just missing the mark. And I start again. And I make forgiveness my best friend, because I'm always going to have to press restart and renew. There's always going to be times where I don't know what to do, where I don't have a clue, and I have to let Spirit through to teach me anew. So let me be empty and humble and open and know that I glow with the light. I glow with the light. I am the light that shines upon all men, and that light is who I am, and that light is my friend, and it will teach me again and again and again and again to do less and less and less harm to myself and others and to this beautiful earth which supports us with grace. As we put first things first, our spiritual practice, our radiant sight, to know beyond knowing that we are the light. And so it is.
Oh, wonderful.
There are bumper stickers awaiting you when you leave that say, "I survived the sin talk."
So, would the ushers please come forward? So, Leslie, come here, honey. Would you just share just a moment, just a sweet little bit about what it's like to accept the loving offering from everybody here?
Oh, absolutely. It's just a joy. I'm blessed by receiving the offering, and I see the love all around. Its illumining power and presence is omnipresent.
So everybody that is an usher gets that feeling of being grateful for witnessing the giving. And so today, as you give, just let it be with absolute love and absolute openness for all that you have to give and all that you have to receive. So just taking your gift and putting it next to your heart, realizing this is a holy act, and that whatever you give will be made up by the infinite supplier instantly, because a vacuum is always filled. And as we create that vacuum filled with love, more supply, and more money comes in. And so it is. Amen. So if the ushers would please receive these gifts.
Of the Spirit, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the Spirit, are you ready to receive all the gifts of the Spirit? Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the Spirit, are you ready to receive? Love, are you ready? Joy, are you ready?
Sweethearts who gave it, and so it is. Amen. Woohoo! And so remember that right behind the altar is products by Scott Grace. You can take them home, but it's hard to take home what we had this morning. That's pretty much in the moment. Thank you so much. It was brilliant. So would the practitioners come forward? These people who are ready to reflect back to you the magnificent miracle that you are this morning. And Janet is going to pray us out.
And all of the practitioners who are present, please enfold the room with your love. Receiving all that has been given this day, and all that is given in each and every moment, from the infinite, indwelling source of all good. We are restored to wholeness, our true nature. We are embraced and held in the compassionate heart of the divine that sees only our perfection. And just as the butterfly emerging, we shimmer in the light of this radiant love. And I know that something is quickening because of our readiness. Something good and true and beautiful is coming forth by means of each and every one of us for having been together this day to hear this message, to be anointed in the prayers, to receive the gifts of the loving gaze of our community members, and know that this too is God. I give thanks for all of the blessings that flow forth from the divine presence within, knowing that we are a blessing to the world. I give thanks, and let it be. And so it is. Blessed be.
Would you all please stand now for the affirmation and closing song? Right up here. Through my spiritual work of revealing my inherent wholeness and oneness with my Creator and my sisters and brothers, I become harmless, useful, compassionate, and completely ready to be a force for good in the world.